Hello, it's Lamo here. How are you? I really hope you're well. So, I've come up to a woodland near where I live in Perthshire, and it's really sunny. Look, so I've got my phone balanced on a branch of a fallen tree. It's very mossy, and one of the branches is just providing my eyes with some shade. I think this is an oak tree. Yeah, this is a fallen oak tree. And it's doing that beautiful thing that fallen trees sometimes do, whereby even though it's fallen, it keeps living. Oh my gosh, this is actually amazing. Maybe I can, no, I can't turn my thing around. I'll need to do another video to show you how, yeah, this tree has fallen and then its branches have basically made new oak trees. Nature is amazing. So beautiful. There's definitely a metaphor in there, but I'll let you I'll let you conjure that in your own mind. So what I wanted to do was share some more things in my Patreon that are not songs. So, and I was thinking, what can I share? So at my last gig in Edinburgh a couple of weekends ago, before I sang a song, I shared the story of how I wrote the song, and I loved telling this story, and other people seem to, I think, enjoy it too. So I thought that's something I can come on here and do, is I can tell you about how my songs come to be, how I practice songwriting. And quite honestly, when I thought about doing this, I felt so excited because I am so passionate about creativity and specifically about songwriting, because that's my medium as an artist. And yeah, and at risk of sounding pretentious, for me, my creative practice is like so, how to put it, it's like, you know, like a plait or like a rope that's got lots of strands, and the many strands make it strong. So for me, my creative practice is totally interwoven with some other really important aspects of my life. So that includes kind of meditative practice, and it includes kind of like my emotional life, my relational life, my kind of intellectual life, you know, my process of thinking about things, of learning about things, reading, engaging with ideas, and then also my relationship with nature and just nature in and of itself. Yeah, and for me, all of these are woven together into one kind of rope, or however you want to see it, and they're all an integral part. So they're kind of like, they're not really, I can't almost really separate them out, if you know what I mean. Oh, the sun's giving me a bit of relief. It was quite bright. So anyway, the song I feel most excited to tell you about the writing of is the song that I wrote most recently, I think, and also the one that I'm working on the production of with my wonderful producer Iona. And I think it's going to be my first released recorded track. So it's super exciting. I am also aware that I'm working backwards here, so I could tell you, I could like be chronological about it and go back several years and tell you about my first song that I wrote and then go from there, but I'm just following what's most exciting for me, and that is to tell you about the latest song I've written, and that song is called Worthy Man, and it's a song that I love. And all of my songs, I may have shared this with you before, I feel kind of yeah, this again risk of sounding pretentious or whatever. But I feel quite blessed by all my songs. I feel like all of my songs really kind of serve me and serve a purpose for me. They kind of like tidy something up for me, and they express something that the expression of it like makes me feel better in the world and in myself. And I kind of hope that that's what by sharing my songs, maybe they also serve a purpose for someone else. I think that is kind of one of the purposes of art. Now, it's not the only one, of course. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. What was I saying? Yeah, so Worthy Man. So basically, I started songwriting kind of more seriously about, I think, 6 years ago. And what was happening at that time was I would write a song in response to something external that happened. So, for example, someone would would invite me to an event and say to me, "Oh, it's tomorrow, and will you perform?" And then I would get an idea for a song and I would write it that night. But it was kind of inspired by their event and them inviting me. Or, for example, when apologies, I'm not great with dates and things like that. My brain is not great at retaining like numbers. But when stuff really kicked off in the Middle East, that, and there were like horrifying scenes coming onto our screens, that inspired me to write a song. And then, sorry, I was just distracted because someone was walking by. And then what else? Oh yeah, one year I was like at risk of losing my flat, and it was so emotional for me. I wrote a song, and for me the songs just like come along like that, always in response to something external. And it was a big worry for me because I was like, oh my gosh, I found this art form that I'm good at and that I adore, and yet I'm writing like 3 good songs a year and always in response to something external. So it was quite worrying for me, because I was like, oh no, I'm totally dependent on something outside of me in order to write these songs. So I had that worry for like probably quite a few years. And then something happened last winter. So, as you may know, you might not, you may know, I am really into meditative practices, especially ones to do with the body. So like for a long time I did a lot of yoga, and I've done a lot of sort of different meditation practices, especially anything to do with, especially ones to do with kind of focusing on the body and noticing energies in the body and working with them and such. And as a result, I have friends who are also into such things. So I have a wonderful friend who is really into these practices. And last year he said to me, Lamo, I am listening to Marina Abramowic's memoir on audiobook, and it's amazing and you must read it. So I was like, brilliant, I'm definitely going to do this. So you may have heard of Marina Abramowic, you may not, but she is the performance artist she's really, I think she's most famous for a few things, but laterally I think she's really famous for a piece of performance art she did called The Artist is Present. And in this piece of work, she sat in a gallery for, I think she did like 8 to 12 hours a day for a period of months. She sat on a chair, and members of the public could sit opposite her for as long as they wished. And she gazed into their eyes. And it's called The Artist is Present. You might have seen clips of it somewhere. Anyway, really powerful, really beautiful, very impressive piece of work from my point of view. I know not everybody may agree, but I find that sort of thing very, very, very striking, very inspiring. So that's Marina Abramowic, and she specialises in long durational pieces of performance art. So my friend recommended her memoir and I listened to it on audiobook. She's actually reading it, which is wonderful because it's amazing to hear it in her voice and with her, expression and emphasis and so on. And it's really a remarkable account of a life growing up under quite difficult circumstances. And then this devoted pursuit of a creative life and career. In this book, Marina Abramowic talks about some meditative, creative practices. Oh, the sun's finally, it's amazing. Like, that's been like 11 and a half minutes. Isn't that amazing? Like, how much? Like 11 and a half minutes ago, like I couldn't even look over there. It was so bright, and now I'm starting to feel a bit chilly because the sun's going down. In the book, Marina Abramowic, talks about these practices that she recommends artists do. And even Lady Gaga, the singer, has gone to practice these practices with Marina Abramowic. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, I was really kind of taken with this and inspired. So, last year in October, I think I got towards the end of reading that book and I went to Glasgow to stay with one of my best friends, and we took a trip to Edinburgh to go to the Andy Goldsworthy exhibition, which was wonderful, all about his work in nature and with nature as a visual artist. And when I was it was at the Fruit Market Gallery in Edinburgh, one of my favourite galleries in Edinburgh. And in the shop, I spotted this deck of cards, and it was Marina Abramowic's, what do they call it? The Marina Abramowic method. It was a pack of cards of the practices that she recommends. So I was like, I have to have that. I have to buy that. So I bought it. And we went back to Glasgow, and I was meant to be going to the Tibetan monastery for a few days, Samueling in Eskdalemuir, just to visit and do some practice and whatnot, see some friends. And the night before I was meant to go, my friends who I was meant to be staying with got in touch and were like, Lamo, so sorry, we're really sick with a virus, don't come, we can't look after you, we can't host you, and we don't want to make you sick. So I was like, oh, thanks for letting me know, no worries at all. So then I was like, oh, so I've got a few days off work, I was meant to have a wee holiday, what shall I do? And then my friend who, this is not the long story short. You're welcome. This is like the in-depth story. So you're welcome. What was I saying? So my friend who I was staying with said, we've just had a lovely trip to Bute, to the Isle of Bute. Why don't you go to the Isle of Bute? And I was like, well, I've never been there before. And it's like kind of a hop, skip and a jump from Glasgow. Just like less than an hour on the ferry, I think. Maybe even less than, maybe like half an hour. Anyway, really, really quick to get to Bute, relatively speaking. So I got myself to Bute in October last year, and a taxi driver drove me to Scalp Bay, which is on the west coast of the Isle of Bute, which is off the west coast of Scotland. And I stayed in a tiny cabin for 3 nights and 2 days with my guitar and this pack of Marina Abramowic cards and enough food for the time I was there, and that was basically it. And I didn't go anywhere. I stayed on the beach. I didn't speak to anyone apart from I said hi to a seal in the water. That was really cool. Absolutely love seals. And I just slept and ate and ran on the beach, danced on the beach, swam in the water, had an amazing time basically. I just adored it. And so because it was October, it was getting dark around like what, 4 o'clock? 4:30? So I had long evenings, yeah? So I opened this pack of cards on the first night I was there, and these exercises that she kind of prescribes are intended, I suppose, to kind of quiet your mind and still your body and your nervous system and get you focused and quiet, which is awesome. So the first exercise that I did was I got the mirror from above the sink in the wee bathroom, and I propped it up on the bed, and I gazed at my face in the mirror for an hour. That was the first exercise I did from the Marina Abramowic method. And it was really funny because I thought it was going to be like all emotional and I'd be like crying and stuff. It wasn't like that at all. I actually got the giggles. Just like staring at my own face in the mirror. It was very, very funny. You know when like someone gets the giggles and you get the giggles because you're looking at them, or you can even just sense them laughing. It was like that. Because I could see myself laughing and that was making me laugh more, and yeah, it was great. So so I did that. And then my alarm went, so I was like, right, I've done the hour. And then I did the second exercise from this pack of cards, which was set an alarm for 2 hours, and then for 2 hours, do everything that you do as slowly and deliberately as you possibly can. So I was like, right, let's go. Nothing else to do. Let's do this. So I know it sounds probably quite eccentric and extreme. Honestly, it was amazing. It was a really amazing 2 hours. I made a cup of tea really slowly, so I was like reaching for the kettle like this. And I realized that I had to multitask, otherwise everything was going to take so long. So I was reaching for a cup and reaching for a kettle at the same time like that, really slowly. And I went to the loo really, really slowly, sat down on the loo really slowly, really good for my thigh muscles, and stood up really slowly. Everything took absolutely ages. And what I found was, for those 2 hours, I could not think about anything outside of reaching for the kettle or sitting down on the loo really slowly. Like, I couldn't think about any of my worries. I couldn't think about anything disturbing. Like, it was so amazing. I was so present. I loved it to bits. It was so quite magical, actually. All right, so the next night, and I know you're maybe thinking, Lamo, I thought this was meant to be about how you wrote a song, and trust me, this is about how I wrote a song. So the next night, after a day of like gallivanting on the beach and stuff, chatting to seals, and I think I picked up some litter, being virtuous there, I was like, right, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do the mirror and then the 2 hours moving really slow again, because that was awesome. So I did the mirror gazing for an hour, fine, great, more giggles, absolutely grand. And then I started my alarm again for the 2 hours moving slowly. 40 minutes in, I felt... Did I feel bored? Maybe I did. But the main thing I thought or felt was, I've run out of things to do. I don't need the loo. I've got my tea. I've eaten. Like, I've run out of things to do. So my guitar was beside me. So I was like, right, I'll get my guitar out of its bag really slowly. So I reached and I got the guitar out really slowly and then put it on my lap. And I was like, right, I'll play guitar really slowly. So I was like this. Dong. Then I put my finger on one fret. Dong. And then a song arrived. A song arrived, fully formed in my head, and I started to play it and sing it. And because it was coming and I knew that it was good, good's not the right word, I knew it was important. I had a feeling this is an important song. This is an important piece of art coming through right now. So I stopped the moving slowly thing. Because my priorities are in the right order. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. Right. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, come on. You got this. Yeah. Sorry, I might need to pause. I've got the giggles. Hang on. Sorry, I don't even know why that's so funny. If anybody knows, like, please let me know, because that would be quite interesting. But anyway, so what am I saying here? Yeah, so I stopped doing the moving slowly thing and I wrote down the song. I got the song down, I got it recorded, because it had arrived pretty much fully formed. Some of my songs arrive and then they need crafted, sometimes over a period of months. This one arrived, I'm pretty sure, fully formed. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, because so many things had happened there. So I'd got a brilliant song. And when I say brilliant song, like, I very much subscribe to the notion that I don't write the songs. I'm a channel and they come. So I saw, like, I had kind of been blessed with this amazing song, which I love. And then also I had discovered that I do have control. I can do something to let a song come, to make a song come. Making isn't the right word to use because it sounds like there's force involved. But because I'd had years of worrying, like, oh my gosh, I'm at the mercy of circumstance. If I want a good song, I have to just wait till something either exciting or distressing happens in order for a song to arrive. So this experience with the Marina Abramowic method made me realize, like, oh, thank goodness, I can do something in order to receive a song. So it was really, honestly, I can't tell you what an amazing experience it was. Yeah. And Worthy Man is an important song for me because it expresses a lot of things that are really deeply held in my heart, I suppose, and in my mind. Yeah, and I there is a recording of it here on my Patreon, together with an amazing violinist, Peter, who I recorded with earlier this year. And yeah, I am working on getting this track finished with my producer, Iona, and then released. It is a love song. It is a anti-capitalist song. It is a song about being at your, like, most desperate edge, ready to give up virtually everything. It's a song about what's most important, what's most sacred and beautiful and alive. And I love it. I just love it. And I'm so happy that I found a producer who loves the song too. When I played it to Iona a few months ago, she loved it straight away. So I'm so happy about that. So great. So what else do I want to tell you? Yeah, I am so happy that I found this kind of technique and methodology. So I am someone who can really complicate things, I think. There's a part of me that's like a little sergeant major and wants everything to be kind of complex, and or is convinced things have to be kind of very complex, and you have to get this right and that right, and you have to get that detail and the other detail, you know. You have to fold the bed sheets a certain way. That's a metaphor. I do not fold my bed sheets a complex way. It's a metaphor. But yeah, you know, cross your T's and dot your I's. So it was so good for me to try out these very simple methods from this artist, Marina Abramowic. Very, very simple methods to help me kind of almost my slate, my like channel to kind of be clear and clean. And I think this pertains not only to artists but to anyone, although I kind of think everyone is creative. But I think probably it's so good for everyone to sometimes just completely slow down, completely settle, and do something as crazy and simple as staring at yourself in the mirror for an hour, or moving really slowly for an hour or 2 hours or whatever. And I guess, I mean, there are lots of things people do ordinarily, aren't there? You know, like running is like that. I think jogging is like that. Climbing's probably like that. What else? Chess is probably like that. So yeah, there are these things that people do. Anyway, I think I might have come to the end of my story. Do I feel complete? Not quite. Maybe because I'm just talking to a screen, but that's fine. Anyway, I'll probably close it there. And but if you listened to this all the way through, thank you. If you find it interesting, I would love to hear that from you. If you wouldn't mind writing in the comments below if you found this interesting. If you'd like me to do more of these, because yeah, I love talking about these things. I could probably talk about them forever. Anyway, it's getting a little chilly, so I probably put my cardi on and get up. I think on the way back I'm going to pick some nettle seeds. I really love at this time of year foraging nettle seeds and drying them to eat them through the winter. Really good source of like omega oils, I think. Yeah, so I will say goodbye. So yeah, if you enjoyed this and want me to do more, if you want me to talk about something in particular, then let me know. I can't really talk about like astrophysics or mechanics because I know nothing about those topics. But if it's to do with creativity, songwriting, meditative practices, then performing, music, then I can probably do my best with those. Okay, I really hope you're well. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.